Greetings to fellow Nigerians. This message is to our dear President, President Alhaji Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, I want to use this opportunity, our dear President, to plead with you. You can see the insecurity in Nigeria today is not something you can handle. Because this insecurity, we remember in 2014, when you were leading a march for protests, 1 million man march protest for Goodluck Jonathan to go. The whole Yoruba nation, even pastors, Pastor Enoch Adeboye was in the forefront of that protest. And then we are aware of this Boko Haram because Goodluck was fighting Boko Haram. The Chibok girls kidnapped and the rest of it. Eventually, Goodluck left. And then they climbed down on IPOB members who rose to demand for better treatment in Nigeria, to be included in the Nigerian affairs. Rather than listen to them, the federal government, then led by President Buhari, was climbing down on them. They were killing unarmed Igbo youth. They were demanded to be treated like the rest of the Nigerians. They were killed in their numbers. They were killed in Umpo. They were killed in Onitsha. They were killed in Aba. Some of them were arrested, detained unlawfully. While Southeast was militarized, while people were enjoying in the Southwest, just like the Civil War. From 2017 till date, Southeast has been militarized. And yet, there is insecurity in the Southeast. And now come the revelation by our Vice President, Kasim Shettima, of the plan the Yoruba nation and the Hausa nation had against the Igbos. Where the APC, not even the Yorubas and the Hausa, the APC government, there's this coming together of some section of the Hausa and some section of the Yorubas that came together to say that they would deal with the Igbos. In fact, the plan was to Islamize Southeast. The plan was to, destroy Southeast. So, how they would destroy our businesses and the rest of it. And true to their word, we've been under attack since APC government took over power. They've destroyed our business. They've done so many things. But funny enough, most of these things they keep doing keep backfiring, bouncing back on them. That is God at work. They increase the duty at the ports. It backfired on the economy of Nigeria. And the Igbos keep on prospering. I don't know when you guys will understand that Igbos are the children of God. Now, fast forward, you took over our dear president and you said you will continue from where our dear president stopped. You moved the military to the Southeast in the name of, in the disguise of relaxing, sit at home and all that. They ended up moving in the rehabilitated Boko Haram members that were inculcated into the military, or that were admitted into the military. And all they keep doing is sacking our villages, killing our youth. They came in with the insecurity. They didn't stop any insecurity. Rather, they heightened the insecurity. The Southeast has been under attack by all manner of criminals that the federal government and some state governments sponsored. As many people came out to claim that he was engaged by the federal government to guide Southeast. We all know what he did in the Southeast. But we tarried, we survived. Nnamdi Kanu was abducted from Kenya, brought back to Nigeria so that you have an excuse to move into Southeast, so that we will react, so that we will come and kill us in our numbers. Today, that young man has been convicted after he was abducted from Kenya. The people that convicted Nnamdi Kanu were all Yorubas. The lawyers were Yorubas, the judge Yoruba, Attorney General Yoruba, DSS Yoruba. It was all Yoruba affair. While some Yoruba people were celebrating our woes on social media, using their media to blackmail IPOB and ESN. From Lagos to Owerri, you won't see any military checkpoints. Why didn't the president move military to the west? He refused to move military because he knew that most of the people in the army now are Boko Haram, especially the rehabilitated ones that were admitted into the army. But they moved them to Southeast. Our dear president, I want to let you know that some of our villages were actually burnt down by the military. It's on the record. Especially Ekot to market, where people on a day, people came to the market to trade. The militaries moved their armor tank and opened fire. From the report reaching us, 70 people were shot and all the old goods in that market were burned down. Nothing was done. And that village, Osuihitokwa now, is under, people have deserted. It has been covered by bush. And this is what we have been suffering. And now, the APC government created a monster in trying to remove Goodluck Jonathan and then in trying to Islamize Nigeria. From all indication, this monster has outgrown them and is consuming them. From 1966 till now, we've been under attack, the Igbos, continuous killing and destruction of our property. So it's now part of us. Unfortunately, with due respect, and my heart goes to the families of those that were kidnapped, especially the poor teacher that was crying and begging that Governor Seyi Makinde and our president should not use force. And then the poor teacher, the poor principal that was beheaded. What Nigerians don't know that these things have been happening in the southeast, but the Nigerian media doesn't carry it. They've been going to houses, arresting our youth, killing them. The tiger base, all manner of atrocities have been happening in the southeast. Some of our Yoruba brothers will help to heighten it, will help to cover it, use their media to accuse IPOB and ESN. I have thought southeast, cover the whole of southeast. I now realize that a lot of groups were raised to blackmail ESN and IPOB. The arrest of Nnamdi Kanu is actually to destroy IPOB. Now, about 1 month ago, there was a military attack on a village, Owaimezi, in Eziagu, in Enugu State. I covered it. The militaries will use excuse of chasing ESN, that all they do is to try to protect our people from these terrorists. Because the terrorists all over the place. I don't know why they believe that the terrorists cannot attack Southeast. They were actually created to attack Southeast because there is a jihad agenda plan in Nigeria. And Southeast is one of the targets because Southeast is 99% Christians. Now, our president, with the look of things, they've moved to Southwest. They are attacking Southwest. We saw Sunday Igboho recruiting your men to go into the bush. I was thinking that you should proscribe OPC and also Sunday Igboho and his group, just like the way you proscribe IPOB and ESN. Because this is also a group that is trying to protect us in the Southeast. Or you unproscribed ESN so that they can also protect us. And then withdraw. You can now move the militaries in the Southeast down to Southwest. Because the Southwest need them more than we need them. There is peace in Southeast now. We don't need military in the Southeast now. They need the military more in the Southwest. And we are pleading with you to unproscribe IPOB and ESN. Because from the look of things now, everybody is trying to protect themselves. And we would like you to unproscribe IPOB and ESN without missing word. Because this is the only group that can protect us while you move your military down to Southwest so that they can help to fight the insecurity in the Southwest. Please do not allow Sunday Igboho or OPC or any other unauthorized group that is not army or police to go for the rescue or to fight the insecurity, because the group IPOB and ESN that rose to defend Southeast and their presidents, they were proscribed, they were killed. And to our Yoruba brothers, you can see what goes round comes around. You guys were busy fighting Southeast that did not do anything. We are all South. Instead of us to come together and defend South, you joined the North to wage a war against us. I'm going to play to you one of the sayings of your father, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, where he said, all is fair in war. The Nigerian coup was carried out to free Awolowo, but when the coup failed, our Yoruba brothers turned their back against us and joined the Hausas to fight the civil war against us. And then, even when the genocide in the Southeast you use your media to hype it and to call the coup that happened in Nigeria an Igbo coup, and we were killed. Over 30,000 of our citizens were killed, but we tarried and we are surviving. Now, during the war, when the war was becoming too tough, your father, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, used hunger as a weapon of war, and when he was challenged for using hunger as a weapon of war, his response was, all is fair in war. And he said, you cannot be fighting your enemy and be feeding him fat. So now that you have started celebrating the prophecies of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, we are beginning to wonder if you are trying to lure us again, because the first war was actually because the Igbos want to help to free Chief Obafemi Awolowo from prison and make him president. But you people turned it as an Igbo coup. It was turned to Igbo coup, and then February 18th, 1970. They say your father Awolowo said, all is fair in war. You cannot be fighting a war with somebody and be feeding him fat. I want you to listen.
All is fair in war, so we are told, and that is the position. The plight of the civilians is not the number one priority. But the number one priority is the unity of the country.
So, our Yoruba brothers, how can we forget the role Chief Obafemi Awolowo played in the war to the point of starving children? Now, this is Nigeria for you. I will employ us to all rise up and support Mr. P2B so that we can see if we can make anything good out of this country. Then if you keep on playing your tribal politics, well, this is just the beginning for all of us. No, the beginning for you, because we've been passing through this since 1966. We've seen so many, and I want to say congratulations to Auntie Abigail Dabiri. The seed you sowed in South Africa has germinated. Not just germinated, it's beginning to bear fruit. It is being reaped. You went there to carry propaganda against the Igbo people. Now, every African, there's confusion. The same thing you did in Ghana. I think it is high time the Yorubas rise and apologize to the Igbos and see if we can work these differences out and work together as people from the South and see what we can do to either, if Nigeria cannot work, we should be bold enough to say we divide this country and go our separate ways. It is better to be alive than to keep a country that keeps killing us. Thank you very much.